Hey guys, it's me bringing you my final Trickhouse match versus MaranVaran. He is, I think he's 0-0 at the moment no, he's 1-0 at the moment we play. No, he hasn't played. I think I'm his first match. He gets to forfeit. I know he goes. I know his record after this, but for the record, top 2 make brackets, which I did not know. I thought it was number 1, which means I'm like almost locked. I can't like butcher this really. Like even if I lose this, as long as Maran beats Lambo, and I have the diff, or if Maran beats me and Lambo beats Maran, it's a 3-way tie, 2-1. Jaws comes up different, so mine kind of sucks. So I really need to win this basically. If I don't, then that's frustrating, but it kind of just comes down to Maran versus Lambo. It might not matter if Maran beats Lambo then, but it's whatever. This is our final match for brackets. It might be our final match period, you know. Get tossed, then yeah. Anyway, these 6 he brought, his last 2 mons were Landorus Therian and Primate. You see the 6 I brought. I didn't bring Rillaboom and Dragalge. Gallies didn't have that good of a match. I'm not really beating anything. He had a full Mega Aggron, which kind of hard-walled me. And it was not that great, just in general, really. I didn't take hits from anything. It couldn't really come in very safely. And Rillaboom, it was okay for Coco, but like here I'm outspeeding and killing me really. Scolipede resisting, water resisting Grassy Glide for the record. Yeah, it's just they didn't really have that great of a matchup, and even Honchkrow could come, but the 6 I brought, you can see the 6 I brought. Basically, I'm 4-attack Sneak, Adamant Glade, Quiver Dance for Corona, Specs Greninja, with Water Shuriken, Hebia Berry Aromatisse with Psychic Scolipede, mixed defensive flicks, primarily physically defensive, and Specs Aselgor. What am I expecting from his team? I'm expecting either life. I'm expecting physical Coco 100%. That's 100%. I just don't know what the item. It could be Scarf. It could be Banded. It could be Life Orb. I don't think Banded comes at all for the record, but Life Orb could. Life Orb 3 attacks a Roost. Play Rough Wild Charge plus Combat Roost. That could be a huge problem. Like the team's relatively weak to a few things, but I was primarily physically defensive on Licks, because I expected physical Coco 100%. Basically, I'm expecting physical Coco, obviously defensive, Orion probably Spadef, unless he wants that for Glade, which is fair, but he doesn't even take it from Glade very well anyway, so probably just SD Scolipede, or just all-out attacking, or not all-out attack, but 3 attacks protect. It's either SD 3 attacks, or protect 3 attacks. One of them. I'm not sure about the Honchkrow. It could be Banded, it could be Scarf. Like, I didn't expect Scarf, but I didn't expect Honchkrow in general, so, you know, there's that. But, yeah, that might be really problematic ending. But, Kierm's probably Specs, just because he comes in and kind of gets free ice beams versus me for the most part. And then Aggron, I'm not 100% sure whether he's Spadef. I'm thinking he's more Spadef, but, you know. Lead preview, my Aselgor can do a little bit of work, because it has Focus Blast for Aggron, and does like 67 if he's Spadef. I have Sludge Bomb for a Coco, and I outspeed that, so there's that. And otherwise, Bug Buzz is in general good. I can't really touch Scolipede, but I have Water Shuriken in a lot of things too. I had Water Shuriken on Aselgor, I expected Lando over Honchkrow, which obviously he didn't make with that, which I guess Lando, I guess that makes sense. Brave Words plus coverage is relatively decent versus me. Might buy water break. Some notable things. Volcarona, if Vape's chipped, it can easily win. I'm worried about Haze, or does it get Haze? I know it gets Roar. I don't know about Haze. Well, I know it gets Roar. So I'm scared about phasing, freaking Vaporeon or Toxic. Either one works versus me. I think phasing is just, well, I think Toxic's good, but the problem with that is A, I could be sub, which is not likely, but possible, or B, the bigger one is that if he's Roar, I can just come in Quiver Dance later, so it doesn't really stop me, it just postpones me, but postpones the inevitable. But lead preview, I'm guessing Volcarona is my win time. I don't have U-turn on Grin, which kind of sucks, but if I can get spikes up, they're really good, because it makes just Glade and Accelgor even harder to get swap into. But yeah, the Kebia could come into play with Aromatisse. It probably will actually, but it'd be nice. And then Lix is good. It's primarily just gonna be there for Coco. It can maybe deal with Unscript if it has to. His Gyro Ball rocks. Toxic. Ice Fang. It's not the greatest set here. I'd rather have Quake, but over Ice Fang obviously, but hindsight's 2020. Lead preview, I kind of expect the Coco lead or this, but I led Volcarona predicting, well, okay, so I expected Coco, Aggron, or Scolipede. I realized going into this match now that T-Spike Scolipede would be a huge problem, but because T-Spikes affect 4 out of 6, and if Volcarona got knocked, but nothing gets knocked on his team, but basically I kind of expected T-Spikes here, but obviously I'm forced to swap because Rock Slide, but the Volcarona lead was more so to cover Aggron plus, well, just primarily Aggron, because ultimately I expected Aggron or Coco, and Coco I dealt with just fine. A swap into Lix was perfectly fine. I could just get free rocks, but the Aggron was more problematic for me to swap into, and even if he's Rock Slide or Stone Edge on the Aggron, which is kind of what I expected. I kind of expected rock coverage on Aggron, which he probably does still have it, but more likely than not. So even then I'd still scout, but at least then I know. And even so, I doubt he'd want to stay in turn 1. But he leads Scolipede. I actually have to scout for the rock slide here. Look at my Lix, he does have the rock slide, does 3%, does nothing, but he has the Life Orb, and obviously the speed boost comes out, so that probably means he's not T-Spikes, which is fine with me. Here I just rock. I think I just rock. Yeah, here I Gyro Ball, and it's gonna easily kill. He's plus 2 speed and 71%. It's easily gonna kill. This was my Coco answer though, so that being a 41 is really problematic. But here, obviously, he's gonna go for the CC. Aromatisse takes in 24, and he reveals the Life Orb. Again, I expected that, and I expected physical, so it's exactly what I expected basically. Wild Charge, I knew I guaranteed lived at that range, so here I just opted to Raw Moonblast because the tech was for Scolipede, and Scolipede's dead. And if I can get rid of this Coco now, because my Lix is at 41, it doesn't really check Coco as well anymore. So, and again, I knew I'd guarantee live that Wild Charge, so I was fine just click Moonblast there. Obviously, my team's a little bit weakened, but I'm up 6-4. But, yeah. He brings in the Honchkrow here. He's just gonna click some kind of move. I don't really know what. If it's Scarf Moxie, a huge problem right now because Lix again is at 41, and obviously, like, it doesn't outspeed a Accelgor. Actually, no. The problem with the Scarf Moxie is because if it's Scarf, then my Accelgor spread does not actually outspeed it because I didn't predict that. I'm pretty sure I was just I was just enough speed for Coco, which Scarf Hunter, I think, would outspeed Coco. I think. Not 100% on that, but anyway, here I just sack this. He takes 2% recoil, doesn't really matter. It actually does sort of matter, because rocks, now he can't swap in 3 times, he can only swap in 2 times without dying. That actually is kind of nice, but he gets the Moxie, which is problematic here. If he's choiced, Scarf, then I knew I lived this +1 Brave Bird, so I was fine just to go this with the Licks. Here I Toxic on the Vaporeon, I'm making a really aggressive play there, but again, basically the situation where he was banded, and I don't really know whether he killed me with banded, I don't remember, because I played this match a little bit ago, but I knew I guaranteed lived Scarf, and if he was banded, then I had Greninja, Glade, Volcarona, and all outspeed, and actually the rest of my team outspeeds it then, so it's nowhere near as problem as it could have been. And again, Scarf, it wouldn't kill me there, so I would get a Toxic off, he'd be taking a Recoil, 2 turns of Toxic, it's just too much for him, especially with Water Shuriken, Greninja, Water Shuriken, and a Solgor, and Shadow Sneak Glade. It's the priority I have, it can manage it still. So I Toxic on the Vaporeon, which I do get the call right, therefore the Vaporeon's on a timer, assuming it's not Heal Ball. And he flip turns, so it means it's probably not Heal Ball. It still could be, but he also brings in Honchkrow here. At this range, 3 hits from Water Shuriken does kill, so I just go for it, and it gets 2 hits. It doesn't, like, it's annoying because my Aggron answer is, again, it's not my only Aggron answer. I still have Vanders for Aggron. Like Aggron's still a bit annoying, but it's not too annoying. But it looks like I got 2 hits, but Honchkrow is dead, which, again, I could have just pumped there, but again, I'm thinking he's Scarf at this point, which I technically don't find out whether he is, but Scarf makes a decent amount of sense. Outspeeds Glade, outspeeds Greninja, outspeeds Volcarona, and can outspeed a Solgor depending on my spread. Basically now Honchkrow is dead to recoil, not a big deal. A Solgor comes in, the Aggron, because the Solgor matched up well versus everything at this point. Initially, he could go Vape into Aggron, though, and that'd be a little bit problematic, actually, because they're not Quake on Licks, therefore I really cannot touch Aggron. I'm terrible Ice Fang, as I said before. So, again, that'd be problematic. But here I just raw Focus Blast. He rocks, I think. He rocks. Again, not expecting the Scarf. Specs modest Focus Blast, and I actually hit 2, which is perfect because at this point, Kyurem would have to be Scarf to be. Yeah, it can't even win because if it's Scarf, he'd have to Draco, and then Volcarona easily comes in and Quiver Dances. At this point, it's checkmate. I don't think he can win. The only way you could do anything was, I guess. Yeah, I don't think you can do anything at that point, because I think you have to go Vape, and just hope I miss a lot, and then, like, Scald. Yeah, I don't know what you do there, to be honest. I think you'd have to have Dragon Pulse Kyurem over Draco, and be Scarf, I guess, and crit. But then you didn't even knock out Galay, and I just got a CC. I think that was checkmate, no matter what. Even if I missed the Focus Blast, I don't think it ultimately mattered. Like Galay, it could, just because I wanted to get the SO kill with the Sub War, to be honest. But again, there it didn't really. It was at this point it was a wrap, I think. Like, assuming if I landed the Focus Blast, you know, if I needed to land one of them, and I figured he'd rock anyway, but if he didn't and Heavy Slammed, that he, if I recall correctly. So if I missed, it was pretty much game, but I guess he was Specs Kyurem because of the Solgor alphabet. So Glade with outspeed. Basically, we're going to assume this Aggron's still at 94%. My way of beating at that point would be to obviously just go Volcarona, a Fire Blast, ship it into range of Glade, then come in CC. I'd basically have Glade plus Volcarona, and I'm also assuming he had rock coverage. If he didn't have rock coverage, then he didn't even kill Volcarona, so then it was perfectly fine, no matter what. But I think as long as I landed one, it was checkmate. Just because, like, there's nothing you could do at that point. Because basically then I would just go Glade, CC, get a kill on something. And since Kieran was specs, he didn't outspeed me, so basically you'd sack either Aggron or Kieran. Kieran is slower than the remaining 3 mons, so excluding Steelix. But like, I think it was over as long as I landed 1. Like, I didn't need to land 3, as I did, as long as I landed 1. But, you know, we pulled through. We got 3-0 and, we go 3-0 in, our pools, which is really good because obviously it confirms our spot into brackets. We're already in brackets right now. I have not played my matchups as of right now, but I will tell you the matchup is ruthless. His 3 offense, his biggest, he has, so I remember 5 mons, but 5 mons are the problem mons. Like, he could bring them 5 mons, not have a 6 mon, and still beat me, just because he doesn't need anything else. Basically, he has Darmanitan, G, Galarian Darmanitan, Melmetal, Lele, Mega Sableye, Chansey. Obviously, the Mega Sableye Chansey's is stall-ish core, and then his offensive core is Lele, Melmetal, and what's the last one? Darmanitan, Galarian. So my matchup's dog shit. I won't go over it because technically he could watch this to hear what I'm saying, but probability of that is near non-existent, but it's quite possible. But yeah, so if we could pull through, at least go into, well, at least we confirm bracket. You know, at least we make it out of pools, at the very least. I'll tell you that Marin and me were the ones who make it out of pools. He beat Marin up beating Epic Pants. He got a forfeit win for Sack Pants, but he also beat Lambo. So Lambo went from 1-0 to 1-2. Unfortunate for him, he doesn't make it out of pools. But we got a lot of fun names, notable names from RU in brackets. We have this Legendary Superior, Sensei Axu, and that's all I really remember. I don't think Explosion made brackets. He might have, but I don't think he did. I remember looking, but then I don't remember. I know Mythflow's in brackets. I'm trying to think of all the people I remember, but yeah, there's some cool names, but notable ones. Not even notable as in just like it's like the top best of best, but notable RU names plus my league names. But yeah, so 3-0 in pools, and yeah, I will see you guys in my first round of brackets. That's top 128 with record. Yeah, so I will see you guys for my top 128 brackets match.